Hey guys, and welcome back to another Music Mondays Retrospective, the show where I take the music that I've made over the past 10 weeks and talk about what went into it, talk about what I consider when making it, and generally the whole behind-the-scenes info on the music making process. Let's take off the sunglasses because it's time to get real. Okay, so I started the last 10 with number 11, known as Champion's Vendetta. This one brought in kind of a repeating chorus to it. While it had the same kind of basic chords underneath everything, there were different melodies that resonated throughout the entire piece. Each time the main theme kind of repeats, there's going to be a different little melody with the piano in the background, and I really think that did add a lot to it. When I was making it, it actually brought to mind kind of like a Punch-Out training montage kind of thing. If anyone's ever played Punch-Out, there's a scene where Little Mac, the boxer person that you play as, is like running through the streets of New York as training for his next big boxing match. That's kind of what that reminds me of. Next was Cosmic Leap, and that one brought more of a sci-fi style into things. This was kind of more of a musical experimentation on my part because I was going into more pitch bending like in the very beginning, and the main thing that this song was about was triplets. The song was kind of orchestrated in 3/4 time, while the whole thing was at a fast enough tempo to make it kind of like 4/4. To be honest, you can kind of express the timing in a bunch of different ways. It's weirdly complicated, but that's how I ended up doing it. The original title for the song, fun fact, was Cosmic Firefight. I changed it because I felt like it was more of an adventurous song than a combative? Than a song about combat. So that's basically where that came from, and to be honest, that one I'm pretty happy with. The only thing is I would make the bass drum a tiny bit more powerful, but tiny gripes. Next was Journey to Discovery / The Journey Continues. For those who don't know, this song kind of went through a little bit of a metamorphosis. I first posted it one week, and people were saying that it seemed kind of, like it wasn't fleshed out enough, like it was kind of missing something. So I took a week, I remastered it, added a bunch of stuff, some new effects, some new instruments, and in the end I think it came out a really well fleshed out song. I think I kind of learned the importance of having a bass line, of having more background noise than just the main melody in that song, and I feel like it definitely helped my music making abilities and all that. So yeah, improving as a composer, very good stuff. Number 14 was Desert Moonrise. Now the specific image that I had in my mind while making this song was, if anyone's played Twilight Princess, I say like if anyone's, of course at least one of you has. Twilight Princess, there's an area known as the Gerudo Desert, the desert, and during the nighttime there's this like really cool effect with the moon rising, and it's just like this very calm yet slightly dangerous place. That's kind of what I had in mind when composing this. Additionally, a cool effect on the drums that I was able to do is actually turning up the gain on the drum kit. Normally, obviously, gain isn't really on drums, but in this case, I think it actually turned out pretty well. And that's what the effect you can kind of hear in the beginning, and throughout the song it kind of dips and goes back up in this periodic fashion. Next was Firewall, and I gotta say, this one was probably the most popular out of the past 10. It was very well received, and part of it might have had to do with the fact that it's another techno-esque song, that it uses a lot of synthesizers and that kind of feeling. The background organs at the very beginning were actually added at the very last minute. I had finalized the song and everything, but then I decided, you know what, it needs a little bit more, so I went back and I added the organs in the background, and I gotta say those improved it a lot, so definitely glad I made that decision. Firewall, yep, that one, definitely happy with. Next was number 16, Kind Soul. That one was actually made for Caitlin's birthday. If you don't know Caitlin, I collaborated with her in the Wind Waker LP that's currently on kind of a weird hiatus while my TV gets fixed. So that's annoying. But I still wanted it to be a standalone song. So, you know, it's got a lot of kind of transition, and this song is a little bit unique in that it doesn't actually loop. The majority of the songs I make on this channel will go a certain point and then loop back to the beginning and play one more loop. This one doesn't do that, and this was not the first song that I've done that, but definitely probably, what am I even going at? This one probably kicked off a trend of not looping songs, which I liked. If you listen closely, you can actually hear hints to little music from different fandoms. I hid in the background. Obviously, you probably wouldn't be able to hear these. One of them you might be able to hear, the Frozen reference to Let It Go. In the background at the beginning of the song, there are also references to Doctor Who and Attack on Titan in there. Probably won't be able to hear them, but if I play them alone, then you shall hear. So the next one was Enter the Ruins, which was a remix of the La Mulana song from the Gate of Guidance known as Fearless Challenger. Now, while I was listening to the La Mulana soundtrack, not sure why, it just kind of came back to me for some reason, despite not having touched the game in over a year. I realized that there was a kind of weird similarity between the tracks in the Gate of Guidance and the Gate of Illusion. It seemed like a lot of the melodies would go together pretty well, and that was kind of reflected in this song. I blended a couple of the styles from Fearless Challenger and Wonder of the Wonder, which plays in the Gate of Illusion. I took the timing from Wonder of the Wonder with the whole 3/4 time signature and all that, but the melody from Fearless Challenger, and of course I sprinkled some Gate of Illusion in there too. That one I think turned out really well, and that's what really that was my first step into kind of the real remixing process, making actual songs rather than weird montages like I did last time. Yeah, and a funny thing about that is that actually kind of aligns with the game's lore in a little bit, how there's a similarity between the front side and the back side of that particular part of the ruins. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's from the game La Mulana. I've LP'd it on my channel, you can go check it out, please. Yeah. So the next one was Eye of the Storm. This one I am very, very fond of. And this was kind of an experiment on my part with panning. Panning is the term used when you kind of have instruments that sound like they're a little more to the left or a little more to the right. That was probably mirrored from my webcam, or maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But so basically, originally, before I had done number 18, I had it so that certain instruments were kind of locked in certain places. They wouldn't change their location, but certain instruments might be a little bit to the left for the duration of the song, or a little bit to the right. For Eye of the Storm, I kind of wanted to make something more symmetrical, because it seemed a little bit off to me when I did it the other way. So I wanted to kind of center everything, make it sound symmetrical, but I ran into a problem early on with that, where everything kind of sounded like it came from the same place, and that gave the music kind of like a narrow feel to it. I didn't want that, so what I decided to do was make 2 copies of the same instrument and pan them both in the opposite directions equally. So that's what I did with the kind of lead synthesizer in that one, and that's how I actually achieved the effect you can hear of it kind of zooming back and forth from left to right. Obviously the song is one that's best listened to with headphones, because there's a lot of emphasis on left and right within the song just because of that panning effect. And what's interesting is that because I matched up the 2 halves of that separately, when you play them individually, it sounds nothing like the final tune, and it actually really doesn't sound like anything. But then, as soon as you mix them together, it suddenly sounds fine. So I thought that was kind of cool. For some reason, number 18 reminds me a lot of like classic Donkey Kong country music. I honestly don't know why. It just does. Alright, so the next one was the beginning of the remix month thing that's ongoing right now. It was the VVVVV remix. It was a remix of Pushing Onwards with a little bit of Predestined Fate sprinkled in there in the background, or not the background, but at the end. And I used the same center panning technique as in Eye of the Storm with this one too. One thing I really liked about this song is the little, it's like a tiny thing, but it's the little cracks of thunder you can hear in the background at a couple portions during the song. I tried to make the song really flow, and I feel like the guitar definitely helped with that part. So, VVVVV remix definitely turned out pretty well. Also, I'm very proud of the description of that video. Yeah, that turned out really well. The very last one was the Portal remix, but the Portal and Portal 2 music was integrated in that one. It was a remix of Still Alive, the Portal 2 main theme, and Want You Gone, which all of which are, of course, very famous songs from the Portal franchise. I can't speak today. Now, this started as a remix of Just Still Alive, per the suggestion from Honest Stuff, but it kind of evolved from there, in a way, where it was like, suddenly I wanted to put in a little bit of the Portal 2 main theme, and then I wanted to put in a little bit of Want You Gone, and then it kind of took over from there, so it really wasn't a remix of Just Still Alive at all at that point. But I'm very happy with the transitions between the songs. I feel like those happened really well. Interestingly enough, this is the first song I've done which uses a lot of different key changes. Most of the songs I use, because they're loopable, stay in the same key from beginning to end, but this one is completely not the case. It like flips all around, shifting down and back up and down again from the beginning to the end of the song. Again, this is one that doesn't loop. Additionally, at the very end of the song, it transitions from 8/8 or 4/4 to 7/8 time at the very end, and that one just kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. I wasn't planning to do that, I just did. might be seeing more 7/8 time in the future. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, that does it for songs 11 through 20. And at the end of these, I kind of want to give a sneak preview of maybe a future song, one that I've worked on, one that I've been working on. This one that I'm going to be playing right now is not part of Remix Month. I'm currently working on number 21 right now, which is going to come out next week. But it's something I finished a while ago and never bothered to release, so I'll probably release it sometime in the next few weeks or so. So you get to see some of that. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you at least found this interesting. If you want me to continue doing these, please let me know. If not, please let me know. I don't want to make videos that you guys don't enjoy watching, so your feedback is much appreciated. Additionally, if there's any songs you'd like to hear, post a comment about that. If there's anything I can improve in as a composer, tell me. Basically, communication. That's the moral of the story here. And yeah, until then, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time.